Assalamu alaikum, you're watching Views and News, and I'm Faisal Rahman with a very interesting topic. As we all know, today is the 8th of March, and this particular date is celebrated, and this day is celebrated as the Women's Day. Started around 1975 and onwards, just to give a tribute to the role of women in our society. Whether you talk about a developed country, a developing country, or a third world country, you will see the role of women is very, very significant. It is believed, even the founder of Pakistan, Quaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah, really appreciated the role of women. In the development, you talk about any area, whether you talk about sports, you talk about politics, you talk about professionalism, you will see women showing their excellence in every single field. And as we all know, that 51% of the total population of Pakistan is basically of women. So you can't marginalize them. And now, since we are talking about this 21st century, this is the third decade of this century, things have changed. A lot has changed over a period of time. Now, to talk about this, we'll be definitely sharing our thoughts, and we'll definitely be talking about the role of women in Pakistan, how to progress, how to make sure that there should be, when we talk about gender equality, I think that is the key. Plus, as we all know, that every year there's a theme on the Women's Day, and this year the theme was Choose to Challenge. And that is again something pretty interesting, and we'll be talking about that. But before that, let me also share a couple of tweets. Minister for Human Rights Shireen Mazari says that International Women's Day, shrinking space for women everywhere. This is what we have to struggle against, not just through laws, but changing mindsets. In Pakistan, laws exist against GBV, protecting inheritance rights, penalizing harassment at the workplace. Then the DG ISPR, he says that Pakistani women contributed immensely for glory and honor of our nation. They are also at the forefront against COVID. Women in uniform have proved their mettle by contributing in a diverse field, serving the nation and humanity. They deserve our immense respect and gratitude. Now, there's another tweet, and that is by the Minister of Information, Senator Shibli Faraz. He says, आज का दिन माशरे में ख़वातीन के बुलंद मकाम और मुख्तलिफ शोबाजात में उनकी काबिल सताइश खदमात की अहमियत को उजागर करता है। दीन इस्लाम ने ख़वातीन को बेमिसाल हकूक़ दिए हैं। आईन पाकिस्तान ख़वातीन के हकूक़ का ज़ामिन है। पाकिस्तान की तामीर और तरक्की में ख़वातीन ने रोशन किरदार अदा किया। Basically, he is also praising the role of women, and he says that the women, they have excelled in almost every field. Whether you talk about military, you talk about medicine, you talk about engineering, you talk about any other field. And in particular, those women who have been a part of the overall process as far as the nation is concerned, and the growth is concerned, and overall effect is there. But quickly, let me also introduce you to our panelists. We have with us in our studio, on my right is Asma Qadir Saiba. She needs no introduction. She is a member of National Assembly, and she is from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. And we have with us Dr. Rakshanda Parveen Saib. She's a gender and inclusion expert. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time as well. And we have with us Senator Sitara Ayaz Saiba. She's a politician. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time as well. Now, starting off from you, ma'am, International Women's Day. As a woman, ma'am, as a parliamentarian, first of all, the role and the expectation really goes up. The magnitude is very different. The overall philosophy changes. A woman sitting in house as a housewife, looking after the kids, she has a different role to play. But a woman who's done that now, like you for that matter, is in the politics, you think you can deliver under the given circumstances? Because generally speaking, when it comes to Pakistan, it is believed that women do not have those kind of rights which men enjoy, interestingly. Or do you think post Musharraf's era, things have changed since you have got a lot of representation in the parliament as well as in the Senate? How do you see that?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk about on such a unique day, Women's Day, which is celebrated globally all over the world. And before I go to the role of the women, I would like to extend my gratitude being a woman. And on the other, why? Because the way I was raised by my father, and my father was the one who gave me strength to accept myself as a girl, because at the time where we used to live and around us, there was a kind of what you can society with at the time. It was not acceptable for a lady, for a woman, or for a girl to go out so frankly and go for education and so on. But it was my father, he gave me strength and said that the education and grooming, it is vital for a girl, because at the end, once she goes to the other home, she's the one who is representing her own brought up, her parents and all that. So that is the one aspect of being a girl or a woman and reaching to somebody helped me to be here, giving me strength, so I'm here, reaching to the parliament. Without the support of our men, like our father, our sons, our brothers, women like me or like anyone, I think, cannot reach here unless they don't help. So at the one hand, we are privileged ladies, but yes, being in parliamentarian, why I'm here, I felt that the privileges that I enjoyed, the facilities that I enjoyed, I want to give to the other women, those live in such stressed areas where their men do not allow them to enjoy the facilities that as a creature, or as a, what you can say, as a soul in which she totally exists. So transferring the what you can say, the nature that I feel is created for me as well, I want to transfer to the other ladies that is her first right, to make their society, her society, to know that her existence is as unique as nature is unique. She's the part of the nature. Without her, I think beauty nobody be able to understand what beauty is around the nature. Nobody will understand how the colors expand when she's out. Nobody will understand that why the stars shines on the skies, because of her presence. And her presence begins when she's a daughter, right?
That's why they say that, if you don't have a daughter, your family isn't complete.
Yeah,
Simple as
it
that.
begins from daughter.
Yeah.
And then daughter, the one who raises, is also as important as that girl is important. So they both play a role, coming into a what you can say, into a space where both have a unique importance.
But you need to, also provide that conducive environment. But Rakshandi, over here, when we talk about the conservative family values and norms, basically, which prevail, in every family, interestingly, women, for very unfortunate reasons, now I'm sure things have changed, but if you look at it from a different perspective, it seems that the boys have an edge over girls, in a family, and especially when you talk about a society like Pakistan. Though the culture is so diversified, yet one thing is common, isn't it, regarding the women?
Yes, but to begin with, first we should, feel happy that again we are celebrating 8th of March, and this year, we are celebrating it with a theme that is women in leadership and achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world, because we all have experienced and we are still experiencing this pandemic, so the things have totally changed for all people and more for women and girls. Why? Because some of the reasons you have just mentioned, because we live in a patriarchal world and Pakistan is very much part of this world, and there is a son preference for different reasons, and women, even when they are working in traditional and non-traditional sectors, no matter how less is their amount, or suppose in the parliament, which is increasing, but compared to men, they are not.
I think the ratio is a lot better, even if you look at it,
yes, it is
from
better.
the Western point of view also.
No, but you see, but even when they are in greater numbers, for instance, in sectors like agriculture, or when they are, lower in number in politics or in the parliament, the real issue is that their work, their contribution is not acknowledged the way it should be. So they have to still struggle that look and have to remind someone somewhere, people who have power, that we are born with equal rights, we are equal beings. So it's not about that we are asking for something that should be given to us as a concession. We have all the rights, and alhamdulillah, since we are Muslims, so we got so many rights, which, as you just mentioned, pointed out, that the Western world, gained after much struggle and much contemplation. So this struggle is still on, and it's not it is going in, with more intensity. We have come so far, we have achieved so many things, but we have to achieve so many other, rights, and we have to still struggle not only for equal opportunities for women and girls. And mind you, that women and girls are not homogeneous categories, but we have to struggle also for the equality of outcomes. And for this, we look towards, our politicians, our legislators, our media as well, because these are, the game changers.
I think you've said it very right, that the game changing or the overall, when you talk about the culture, I think the most important role is the role of a woman. She can look in, she can read the abstract also. God has given them, I think, so much, for sure. It is just that how you recognize. Ma'am, coming to you now, since you're a politician, you've been in the field for such a long time, and initially you were with Awami National Party, which is a very progressive party, very secular kind of a mindset, I would say. But interestingly, when we look at it, it hails from a province that seems to be pretty conservative. So a woman in that party coming from that part, that's exceptional. But ma'am, talking about the region, I mean, whether you talk about South Asian country, whether it's India or Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, what we have seen, one thing is common: Indira Gandhi as a prime minister, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto as the prime minister, you have Khalda Zia, Hasina Wajid as prime ministers in Bangladesh, Chandrika Kumaratunga in Sri Lanka. But in the Western world, this is the first time that we have seen a vice president as a woman, taking over. Not even one woman was there before. So I think we have progressed a little more. But still, ma'am, the society seems to be so conservative that for some odd reason, women are not, considered to be too appropriate to be the head of a state, for that matter. But ma'am, as a politician now, since you've been there, you've been a senator also, what sort of a difference you think women have actually made in the parliament so far, considering the background of the entire region?
Thank you very much. And first of all, I just want to say that we are celebrating again 8th March, and I feel very good, because if I look back and see that how it was when I first came in my professional life, it was totally different. And now with the passage of time, things are changing, maybe slowly, but there is a positive changes now in our lives. And what you said, in Western also we saw that yes, things are changing, and it's a good change. It's it seems that we are progressing.
Yeah.
There's so many things we achieved, and there's so many things that still we have to struggle for that. It's life. There will be so many other things maybe coming up in future. As you said, yes, in the region, it's you said that Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto and Indira Gandhi and so many other, not only in politics, but if we see that even in my area, what you mentioned, that it is not unusual. I think our women in that area from where I belong, they were so progressive from a very beginning. The poetess, all the top poetry in Pashto, that is the women, women who did that. And then politically also, if I can see, then there was Kulsum Saifullah, Begum Zari Sarfaraz, then our own Begum Wali Khan. They were there. It's not like, you know, it's changed or unusual for me from that area. But when we are now, after Musharraf's time, we are now in more in the assemblies. But it seems like, it is my own experience, that it is, we are there, many of us are there, and it's good. But sometimes we feel that they are not taking taking us seriously. We all, the women, we are in legislation. I think many of the legislation which in the Senate, if you take out the past 15 years or something, it's done by the women. But still, you know, they are asking women that, what are you doing? You are just here because of us. They are not taking them. So this is a long way now. We have to prove
this
that,
is a long
yes,
struggle.
It's a long struggle. I remember Women Action Forum, it's way back, maybe Rakshanda also, she was a part of that. But as I said, that things change, but still we need to do more. Like, yes, we are in assemblies, we are in the parties, but they are still not taking us seriously in many parties. I will not say all the parties, but in many parties. You know, when you are a legislator, you are equal to men, and you are doing more than I'm not criticizing them, but this is a fact. This is a fact. This is in the provincial assemblies also, this is in national assembly also, and this is in the Senate also. So we
But
need
don't you think
to
this
work.
particular culture has changed over the last decade or so, ma'am?
Culture changed. This is what I am saying, that yes, it is not that what it was before, but this is, again, we need to struggle more for that. People are looking at us when there are so many legislation which, as I said, done by women, but then implementation. Implementation is missing. There are. So, but as a very positive person, and I always take things positively, with so many odds, there are some positive things which I can see, that yes, we had, we are able to. It's a struggle of not only me or one, it's a group of women who suffered. And then now there is a fruit which everybody is now, many women are in assemblies, they are in businesses, they are in higher posts.
Yes.
So this is the thing which I think that today, when I'm talking about women, 8th March, I'm happy that yes, we achieved something. We achieved few of our goals, at least.
But still there is a long way to go.
And as a Pakistani women, when we talk about Pakistan, we are much more, as my MNA Saiba said, that yes, if I my experience was very good, and is because I was totally supported by my father. So I'm here because
Your father was also in politics, ma'am?
No, he was not. He was not, but he supported me a lot. And then when I married, then my husband supported me a lot. So, but I'm not giving example of myself, because that is maybe a bit different, or maybe a lot of education in my family. But otherwise, I can see many women who are coming out from their houses, from remote areas. I can, today I was reading, one lady from Chitral is in the Senate, then one lady from Athar, she is in the Senate. Then you know, now there is some awareness in women, but not only in women, it's generally everywhere. Because if you really want equal, then you have to educate men also. It's not only women, that you are asking for women rights, you have to go parallel with men also, because men and women, they both, the world is because of them. It's not only women or not only men.
Yeah.
So we both, we have to accept each other, you know, both, like responsibility also, the rights also.
Yeah.
Men and women. Men, they have their own responsibilities and rights. Women have their own responsibilities and rights. So if we work on that thing, I think many of our problems will be solved.
Yeah, definitely. Ma'am, as
One
yeah, please
thing
go
I
ahead.
would like to continue with that a little bit. You know, being in the field, I'm in the field for the last 12 or 13 years, like being into the rural areas, urban areas, you know, condensed areas. So what I've found, there's a lot of great change in the psyche of our people, that they have started accepting women as a person, as a human being.
They've started taking them seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And what my experience is, mostly I meet with the people, those who are low wages, those who are earning very low wages, those who are like earning through having taxi drivers, or they are laborers and so on. I've found them, they respect their women a lot as compared to the society of privileged ones. So, but there's one issue which is not, I think we need to address, and
that is?
the only women that faces the problem in deciding how many children she should have. There she gets stuck, and there her health is compromised, you know, her decision is compromised, and then, you know, from there, she does a lot of welfare work, you know, by accepting where she's being, she's in a environment where she's been set to live. There she accepts. That's a very, I take it a kind of welfare from her side. But the point is that our society and psyche, they need to, we are working on it, that they made to be realized that her health is important, not but you know, keep growing, extending your family is not good for themselves, not for the society, even not for the country. So there she gets stuck. As far as her acceptance, her respect, her honor, family have started realizing, even the parents of the girls they do ensure that their girls go to school. In the same way, the way they want their sons to go to school. But I've found that she's being, like, for example, I have a driver, the way he respects her wife, it was amazing. I've seen them, all people, those who are living in, you know, slums, they respect their women a lot. I've found them, rather,
Because
their
the
women
role
are
of
more
women,
stronger.
that's too much, ma'am, because starting from raising the children,
Yeah.
and all the chores, you know, which you do at home, cooking, cleaning, you name it, and she does everything.
Yeah, everything. And she's happy. Never, I've found.
And even in the rural areas, ma'am, they're working with the men
Yeah.
as farmers.
This is what I want
and-
to.
yeah.
This is what I want to tell you, Faisal, that our Pakistani women are unique. I haven't seen such a kind of species anywhere in the world. Yes, there are internationally, I've seen in outside on international level that there are great women. They are making history in every domain. But you know, I am amazed to see the Pakistani ladies, the way they go through hardship happily, and the way they make their children come out and, you know, make them face the world with honor and dignity, and they're happy in, you know, little morsel as well, never complaining, but they make sure that their children, their family gets the best. The only problem that I have experienced is that they are not given the choice to how many children they should have. There they get stuck, and the problem begins from there. It's just because, and it is not what we say that all the issues and the problem because of such and such. The reason why we are facing problems at all levels, even at our society level, even on our governmental level, or whatever level you talk about, is just because she's not given the right to decide how many children she will have. And because of that, so the whole problem begins, you know. There she gets mentally, she's been under pressure how to, you know, make their children go to school.
Even
whether
physically they're exhausted, ma'am.
The food problem,
exactly,
you know?
the quality of food, ma'am, because, you know, people used to make a lot of fun of the Prime Minister, Imran Khan, that he's talking about, you know, uh, having chicken at home.
Yes.
So that, ma'am, honestly speaking, I would say that milk, eggs, because primarily it's not only about the women. In general, we are an undernourished nation, ma'am. You can't expect that undernourished nation to be very progressive, because you can't expect their IQs to be high. I mean, these are all things which are related.
Exactly.
Plus on top, ma'am, the tension and the depression and the kind of
burden
issues which
she faces
you
because of
just
that, yeah.
exactly. So though their role is great, I think their role is even greater than men in certain cases. You talk about medicine, ma'am, nurses, paramedical staff. I think they have done a brilliant job in looking after this COVID issue. You talk about women in uniform, ma'am. I mean, nobody ever thought, even Indians were surprised to see one of our female fighter pilot, I mean, doing sorties. She was practically, bombing, during the practice session. They were amazed. You talk about good actresses, you talk about writers, you talk about poets, you just mention any particular field, ma'am, you'll see women progressing in that. Media, for that matter, ma'am. You switch on the TV and most of the faces you see are of women, interestingly, whether in the form of newscasters or anchors or producers or otherwise. So things have literally changed, but still there is a long way to go. Ma'am, since your field is related directly to it, these issues, ma'am, you think during the last 20 years or so, things have changed and our direction has been put right now?
Yes, change, is something that always happens. As somebody who has been working directly with disadvantaged communities across all the regions of Pakistan for the last 30 years or so, I have seen communities who are in misery, who are living in poverty. Not only, they are experiencing poverty of income, but also poverty of opportunity and choices. I have no hesitation in saying that Pakistan has changed, and this change has come from very unexpected sources. Like if you look at the indicators of development, suppose education or literacy, we may not be seeing very impressive figures there, but look at the media influx. So our literate population is definitely not very high, is not higher in percentage. I mean, I would like to see 100% literate Pakistan. So that is of course much below then, and there are also regional variations. But if you look at the digital literacy, or to be more specific, mobile learning, M-learning, because we often use e-learning. So e-learning is lesser than mobile learning. So that is amazing, because as M&A and Asma has just said, that really we are a very amazing nation, and women are really very inspiring, and they are so resilient, because I cannot imagine that if I haven't been to school, if I haven't been educated, how could I learn texting on mobile? And when I see people who help us in our domestic chores, or who help us at our business, who are either not at all educated, or from very humble backgrounds, they are so quick at learning, and they use mobile with effectively, and they are
you
able.
end up seeing a friend's request sent by your cook or by your driver. That's surprising.
The thing is that they have learned. They have learned. So we have to look at from a different lens at this whole issue. That being intelligent is not only being able to speak in immaculate English, or because we are also narrow in assessing people. So this is very good change. But the transformative change that would actually change the status quo, which our Prime Minister, always he talks about it, and he looks at the grassroots needs, that has yet to be achieved. But that achievement cannot be done, in 24 hours or so. So we have to invest in that achievement, and where that investment has to be made. This is the prime question. So it's all about social justice. And again, I'm very happy to see that in our government policies, this word has been mentioned. Empowering of women has been mentioned. Inclusion of youth, inclusion of people with different different disabilities, especially women with different disabilities, it has been highlighted, because until and unless we identify or we diagnose the ills, we cannot offer, any government cannot offer any remedy. So we are experiencing in 2021 a moment of collective awakening, and as a development practitioner, this is a very encouraging sign for me, while remaining cognizant of our deficiencies.
All right, ma'am, once there was this caucus of parliamentarians, and they were all from SAARC. They were all invited, and I think Femida Mirza Sahiba was the speaker, and we had all this, even the Indian speaker was here, she was a woman too. So we were like so surprised to see people from Bhutan. I was interviewing a lot of parliamentarians there, so I ended up interviewing this young girl who was a parliamentarian from Bhutan, and you know, she surprised me. She said that, you know what, my country has invested in me, and you know, they have really looked upon me that, you know, I could be the future leader. And the kind of commitment she had, the kind of ideas she had, nobody could even think that a country like Bhutan would end up producing such a committed. And she said most of the people out there, especially women, they think like me. So I was surprised. So it does not matter that it has to be America, or it has to be England, from where you can see Margaret Thatcher coming and, you know, being called the Iron Lady. But the point is, ma'am, it's all about the society. You need to, as I earlier mentioned, that you need to have that conducive environment. You just give the environment to a woman and rest, leave it to her. She has been given those abilities that she can manage, and they have always proved right. Now, ma'am, since there was a very interesting statement here, it says, because the choose to challenge, that is your theme. It says, from challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge. Let's talk about that, ma'am. What sort of challenges do you feel will be there in the future for women in particular, and how to overcome that? What sort of, because you're a politician, you see things much ahead as compared to other people, ma'am. Your take.
As we discussed, we all discussed many of our problems. I think that when we were talking, it's not specifically we said that these are the problems which we are facing or in future. But you know, one thing which I feel is lack of education. That is, education is very important, and when we are talking about the latest technologies and all these things, yes, we know that they know how to use mobile, but many of them, they need to be educated more how to make it important for them to use, you know, in their day-to-day life, how important this technology is. There are many other things. So education, I mean not literacy, it's education. What we got when
it's learning.
It's learning, yes, because in our school systems we need to talk. That is a very separate issue, and we need to discuss. That is for male and female both in Pakistan. The education system we have.
In the Allama Iqbal Open University, even in it was last year, 2020.
Yeah.
And you know, when they were talking about, I swear, I looked at that book and I was like shocked. You know what they were teaching them about innovation and invention?
Yeah.
Telex. That 19, God knows, the kind of thing. I mean, the world is
where we
planning to go
this
to
is what
Jupiter.
yeah, even if you go to many of our departments, you will be surprised to see what they are using right now. And so I think that it's a challenge.
Is the name of the game, and still we have classes and knife classes to take the paper from A to B.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is a challenge for us to educate our women. Education means education. It's not literacy, A, B, C, D, or you know, English or Urdu or whatever. It's education to learn about what is the latest, where is now the world, what are the challenges for the world. We are sitting here like if you go to some remote areas of KP or Balochistan or Sindh or Punjab, you will be surprised what they are doing right now, even in schools or at their houses. Many of our women, they are in agriculture sector. They need education about agriculture, how they can develop that. So I think this is the big challenge which I feel. Then planning, we have lack of planning. All the political governments or the governments, we have only 5 years plan because we will be in a government for 5 years. No, it is not. For women, for our children, we need like 10 to 20 years planning. It is not my government or it's
You
a
have
future
macro-environmental factors,
generation.
then you have
It
micro-environmental
is,
factors. Yeah, they should be in
when
alignment.
we are talking about macro things, we are not concentrating. We are talking about our petty issues, macro level things. We should think about our, people are going to discover so many things and what are we doing here. So I think these are the challenges where we are women. You mentioned that we have fighters in our
top
Air Force.
doctors.
We have pilots.
Yeah,
we
you
have
name it.
doctors, top doctors.
How many
we have,
girls are flying
we have
in your-
Lieutenant
in
General
your airlines
recently.
in Pakistan?
Yeah, we have
It's surprising
Lieutenant
to see.
General, the lady in a uniform. We have a top like Famida Mirza, and then all still like Bibi Shaheed.
You have
but
got
she's
female
not-
generals
female
in the medical
generals.
corps,
This is
yeah.
what I'm mentioning. Like the Lieutenant General now, she is the sitting. So it is not that we cannot, but the only thing is that we have to show them how. The thing is that we have to educate them. We have to give them. They are talented, but we have to.
But I think the role of
that.
men also is very important.
That
ma'am.
is
Because
very
as,
important.
As ma'am earlier
Yes,
mentioned,
that
that the
is very
support of the
important.
father, the
This
support
is-
of the husband, the
that-
support of the rest of the family, the
I'm
brothers.
here. I am here because we can simply cannot deny this thing. That no, they have their role. Like as I said earlier, that men and women. The world is men and women. You cannot say that without men we will go. And without women you cannot. You cannot imagine that that you can do anything. I mean, this is impossible. So we have to give due rights to both of them.
Yeah.
And that is a big challenge here.
Absolutely.
Right now, in our country, this is what I feel it is. When I'm sitting when I was in Parliament, in KP, when I'm here in the Senate, I feel that this is because I'm working with the grassroots people also. I'm meeting so many people, many women, many young girls. They want to achieve something. They want to be. If Dr. Rakshanda can sit here, if Sitara Ayaz can sit here, if Asma, why not other women? They have more talent than us. But the only thing is we have to show them.
I mean, the
how.
way girls are progressing in sports, even nobody ever thought that
Yeah.
Pakistan is going to have a female cricket team and a good one.
Yes.
Interestingly,
Very
and
good
we will
one.
end up having the fastest girl in Asia.
Yes, let
100
me
meter
share.
runner. And
Yeah. Let me share one small experience of mine. We were there for IPU with my group of senators, and there was a cricket match between India and Pakistan, and the Indian group was also there, and we lost that. That was a 2020 or something. I don't remember exactly. So the Indians were, oh ma'am, we won and all these things, and I said, okay. Immediately after that, our women cricket team, they won. So we were so excited to see. So it is like we were so proud of them at that time when we were sitting outside Pakistan.
You switch on any
and
Pakistani sports
women-
channel, ma'am, you will
Yes.
end up seeing brilliant female commentators
Yes.
sitting and expressing their views.
Yeah.
You talk about media, as I earlier mentioned, ma'am. Most of these top anchors are girls also. And then interestingly, ma'am, now this is a very important question because a lot of people get confused sitting abroad. They would say that perhaps the religion, which is Islam, doesn't let women to progress. That is a misconception. Maybe perhaps it is the cultural aspect, ma'am.
It is a cultural.
It's not because religion has given so much, the kind of rights women have been given, and especially in Islam. Sometimes you believe that, oh God, I wish I knew it earlier. The kind of rights, the kind of values they've been taught, so much more.
No, it is, yeah. It is absolutely a cultural thing. I've read Quran myself and I haven't find anything in a Quran that actually blocks the way for the women. The women is given so much of respect. I was amazed to even read everything that she is being discussed in such a way that she's an honor. And she is to be taken in such a way that if she is hurt or if she's even even the one who go for the wrong things, it is not allowed to hurt her even, you know. So she's been respected in such a manner. Why? Because there's a verse when the Allah says in Quran that I love you, a human being, more than your 70 times your mother. So I was just thinking at the time, if the 70 times, where the 70% he's talking about, that he loves the human being, where's the 30% goes if I take out, evaluate by, you know, through 100%. So that means 30% is given to the woman, you know, because he's a mother. So mother having so much of respect, and the paradise is for, if you're going to look after her or if you're going to respect her, the paradise, happiness, whatever you can think is due to her. If you're going to respect women, that's mother. So she's been given the great respect, you know, higher than men. She's been even portrayed as the most wise, the most wise person, what we can say, in the life of a family, you know. And she raised, why? Because from her a great, groomed, what is civilized, noble
I think the
nation
most
is going to
important
come out.
component in any
It's a
family
woman.
structure is perhaps a woman in the form
Woman
of a
mother.
mother or otherwise.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the greatest form and the greatest, what you can say, places of the mother. Yes, a woman at the end has to become mother. And where that's why I've been, you know, I tell my students, my female students, those who come from very far-flung areas, those who live in very difficult environments, those who live in a very difficult, what you can say, cultural environments. But, you know, it is not that, we don't have to teach them, or we don't have to guide them to, you know, go against their cultural norms or go against their traditional. I came out from my cultural norms, which are very strict, but respecting at the same time. You know, the women like us, we have to become their model. I'm trying my best to be a model, to inspire them that they have to respect their tradition, their cultural values in the same way their family, by winning their hearts.
Correct.
Not going against their culture, because that's the beauty.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
the culture is gone, you know.
It should be blended in a way.
Blended
that, you
in
know,
a way, beauty. It's a beauty when you stay intact with your culture, your tradition, norm, but you come out as a groomed person, and your culture
I
and
think
your
that's the
tradition.
best possible.
Yes.
Ma'am, talking about the women workforce, ma'am, interestingly, that is some area where I think men, they overlap. Because, I mean, if you go to any organization, you'll end up seeing 20% women at max, not 40% to 60%, you know. The thing is that, though they are educated, ma'am, a lot of women end up becoming doctors, but perhaps their husbands do not allow them to work. And that whole MBBS, 4, 5, 6 years, it goes waste. Do you think, ma'am, women should also work, should be a part of a workplace? And the number should also increase. It's not only going to help them in financial terms, but otherwise also.
Faisal, labor force participation rate of women is quite low. It needs to be improved. But this issue of women who do not work, say after earning a degree in medicine, that needs, that merits a separate session, because it's not that simple that they wasted their time in medical college. We have to look at the whole, process, that who gets into medical college and what's the quota system, and how marriage, impedes or facilitate the career, and why a woman, mostly women, they have to choose between a career and a home life. It happens with other careers as well. Men who are doctors or medical doctors, and when they give up their profession and become famous TV anchors or actors, then nobody said that, hey, you wasted seat. So there are a lot of judgments about women, and nobody looks at their contribution in other spheres, like they become mothers, and the reproductive health issues, and there are so many issues. But coming back to this labor force participation rate, I must say that there are a lot more women who are working, but they are invisible workers and they are not counted. This is also a challenge. And those who cannot be seen in the formal economy, I'm not talking about those who are there in informal economy and they are not paid or valued, or they are not even counted. I'm talking about those, that why women are not seen much in formal economy, and as you said, that the gender parity is not achieved there, because there are a lot of gender biases and the patriarchy in the system. So having said this, I would like to acknowledge that Pakistan has very good examples, like we mentioned earlier in the in the program, and it should be underscored that look at our peacekeepers, women in uniform. They are admired internationally. Overall, our peacekeepers, but in the recent years, women peacekeepers have attained special, appreciation. So hats off to our army,
All right.
and they are enablers. So as you said that it is very important to emphasize the role of men, because they are mostly,
mostly
in the
visible.
corridors of power.
Yeah.
So if they are gender sensitized, if they believe in the women of their country, things would change like this.
And they are. We are moving in the right. I mean, last 1 minute, unfortunately, but I'll put this question to you. Ma'am, that is about the need to understand the rights of women. Because I would say even educated women do not know about their rights, ma'am. Don't you think it is important to create that kind of awareness?
I think the awareness is there now. Many of our women, they know, like as compared to the past. And I feel that what Dr. Rakshanda said, that the men needs to be educated, that they should know about the rights of women, because it will be easy then. Because the women might be knowing their rights, but if she can't get that right, then what is the use of if she knows? Otherwise, it's like, you earlier said that there's many depressions and tensions and all these things. But if the men, if they know their rights, and if they give them their rights, there will be no issue.
As I say,
So
there is
I
a
think
woman
that
behind every successful man. I think it should be the other way around, that behind every successful man, there is a husband or a brother or a father.
This is true.
Or an
On
employer.
both the sides.
Yeah, perhaps,
no,
yes.
both the sides. Like for men also, successful men, there is always a woman behind, and for a successful women also. So, but again, they need education, but mostly men. They should be educated regarding the rights of women.
All right,
so if they are ready to give
and
their rights,
on
there will be no
occasion,
issue.
I
But
think
things
we
will
should
change. One day things will change.
Yeah.
If
Things are changing.
But what she is saying, I am taking it to the other direction, which I see always, and that is when she herself will realize that she exists.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And if I add education and empathy, that is very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Asma Kadir Saiba. Pleasure to have you, Riksha. And thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence as well. And how can we forget the sister of our beloved Qaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Fatma Jinnah? I think she also played a brilliant role.
Exactly.
If she wasn't there, I don't know. I'm not even sure whether we would have been sitting, here in Pakistan. But once again, thank you very much, ladies. And that's all we have for this hour. I'll see you inshallah tomorrow at 8. Till then, you take good care of yourself. Khuda Hafiz.